This is Small Talk with 101 ESPN's Michelle Smallman.
Welcome into episode 159 of Small Talk. Steve Ceruti is live from Connecticut. Michelle Smallman live from St. Louis, Missouri. What's up, Steve? How are you?
Live from Connecticut. It's a very appealing thing. Oh my God, like let's hang out in Connecticut. Good times, your favorite place. But yeah, no, chilling. What's up?
Live from New York, it's Saturday Night Live. Live from Connecticut, it's Small Talk.
Live from Ceruti's guest bedroom. Here we go. This is Small Talk 159.
Live from Michelle's empty dining room. It is Small Talk. We're coming to you.
I said you look. It's very well lit. Last pod we didn't put it on video for a number of different reasons that we won't get into. But I was like, "Are you in a different place today?" You're like, "No." I'm like, "It looks completely different. Like it's a different. I don't know if you painted the walls or something, or there's new art in the background. And we know how much you love art, but like it just looks like a different vibe." And then you're like, "It's probably just." Do you have a ring light? Is that what you got?
No,
not even a ring light.
You can, for our YouTube audience that's watching, you can see in my painting behind me, I have this big chandelier that I bought that got installed, and it has the recessed lighting where you can turn it up or down. And so I put it on full blast. So it looks like a ring light, but it's actually just a chandelier. You can see the top.
It's very artsy. There. It's very Michelle. Trust me. For those of you just listening on the pod, it's very Michelle.
I can take a picture and post it later, but it's very Art Deco. I got this table, Steve. I
don't even know what Art Deco means. By the way, am I an idiot for not even? What does that mean? Is that like?
It's like from the 20s or 30s. It was like an architecture style, Art Deco.
I don't know anything about that, like culture or art or whatever in that way. Because I had to ask them. I'm like, that's so what is it? Bohemian or what is it? What do people call it? What's the shortened version of it?
Boho.
Maybe something like that. I'm like, what does that even mean? They're like, oh, Bohemian. It's like an era. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Sure.
Okay, good. So Art Deco, sometimes referred to as Deco, is a style of visual arts, architecture, and design that first appeared in France just before World War I. It took on the name from blah, blah, blah. It was held from an exposition that was held in Paris in 1925. It combines modern styles with fine craftsmanship and rich materials, and it represents luxury, glamour, exuberance, and faith in social and technological progress.
Sure.
Art Deco.
And I was thinking of boho, by the way. These are all things that just right over my head. I don't even feel like that's a me getting old thing. It's a me just not knowing about art, period, at all. But no.
Well, I really wanted to do my dining room and like texture. I have this great wood console, and I have these travertine lamps, and I wanted to get a marble table. And then I was going to do I was going to get like fabric walls. I was like, oh, I wanted all texture in here. And then I found this table, and it's so Art Deco. And I was like, forget texture. We're going Art Deco. So I'm going Art Deco in the dining room. How would you describe your room, Steve? Like, what's your aesthetic that you're going
like the one I'm in currently?
Yeah. In your guest bedroom. How would you describe the aesthetic? Is it like college dorm?
12-year-old boy. Yeah. I remember somebody they posted a video of me and Rosillo from something I forget, like it was a breakout video or whatever from one of the pods, and one of the comments was like, why is Ceruti in his like high school bedroom right now? And I was like, that's honestly fair. I will take that criticism. That is correct. But I do have the St. Louis sign, and I get so many like comments about the St. Louis flag because people are like, is Ceruti from St. Louis? I didn't know that. I don't really respond to all of them, but like, no, it's just that's Michelle, and it's like front and center on my thing. So it's not, I don't have like the most up-to-date cool like boho or Art Deco aesthetic, but we have a 15-year-old boy. So that's where I'm at.
Well, you know what, Steve, you might not be up to date when it comes to architecture or design, but my man, you are up to date when it comes to coffee. Steve is full flashy. He is a podcast host. He's a producer. He's an editor. He's a manager. My man is also a barista, because before we started, I looked down and he was drinking a coffee. I go, is that coffee? And he goes, oh yeah, you want to see it? I mean, Steve, I don't know if you want to show the audience, but.
Well, I drank it already, but.
Oh, you have a full, I'll post it on Instagram because I took a video of it. You can follow me at @msmallman, Steve @Steve_Ceruti. But you had the full leaf. You had the full design like I would get at a fancy coffee shop. I was so impressed.
Yeah, I did. I've been practicing my latte art for about a couple years now, and I finally figured out how to make a leaf. So it was a slow progress, but yeah, it's it's all about like the way that you like texture the milk. And I was doing it wrong for like a good year. I was like over basically aerating it, so it would be like way too bubbly or whatever, and I couldn't do enough to it. And I finally like figured it out. So now I can do like little cool art things. Like I don't do like, now everybody does the swan thing. By the way, all my Instagram feed, like the Reels feed, is weird. I was talking about this with my friends the other day because it's like so directed and like targeted at who you are. Mine is dachshunds, coffee art, latte art, soccer, and I don't know, there's like some music stuff in there too, but it's like so targeted. But like half of my feed is latte art now because they just know that I'm trying to be that guy.
Because did you YouTube it?
I did. Yep.
That's how they know.
Yep. I YouTube like everything. It's incredible. Like I always tell people, like I learned how to use Photoshop on YouTube. I learned how to do latte art on YouTube. Like it's like the learning. Like I was actually watching this thing the other day that like there was a joke about how like these channels. I think it was Bill Maher actually. He was talking about like how like channels need to rebrand because the learning channel is not about learning anymore. It's all just like reality TV and like A&E Arts and Entertainment used to have like very artsy and like probably Art Deco and bohemian things, and now they just have like dumb like I'm pregnant and so is my daughter kind of shows.
How about MTV? MTV,
same thing. And I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, the learning channel now is just like go on YouTube and figure it out. And there's going to be a tutorial of someone telling you how to do something, how to fix a carburetor, or how to like install your blinds, or how to do latte art. So that's how I learned that. But I will say, I think I might be lactose intolerant now. I've kind of been having this weird reaction to milk. Are you? Maddie doesn't drink regular milk. I know everyone's kind of off milk in general. I've
never been on milk. I've never had milk. Even as a kid, I hated it.
Me neither. Hated it. I didn't drink. It's always like, drink strong for your bones. Like drink more milk. I was always like, nope, not for me. Never drank milk growing up ever, other than in cereal. I drink way more milk now because of like lattes than I did as a kid. But it's like fucking my stomach up now. So maybe I have to transition. But I do actually like oat milk a lot. I will say I think almond milk is trash, but I think oat milk is really good. So maybe I'll make the full-time transition to oat milk.
I love vanilla oat milk. It is my jam. My coffee in the morning is my coffee, vanilla oat milk, a little vanilla collagen powder. And I have these like liquid vanilla stevia drops. I just do like 2 little drops in there. It's enough. It's really good. It's my new jam.
Yeah. I guess I do like oat milk lattes, and I can still I make Maddie's because she likes oat milk, and I'll do the latte art. It's not quite as easy, but I'll YouTube it. I'll YouTube how to do proper latte art for oat milk. But I don't know. It's like weird. I guess I'm getting old now that like my dad, I think he's lactose intolerant. He drinks like lactate. My dad was one of those like old school guys who like from the old country who like drank a ton of milk growing up and still did as an adult. I don't know if your dad does that too. Probably an Italian thing, but like my dad like refused to give up milk, but like he was like lactose intolerant, so he just like drinks lactate. I'm like, Dad, that's the weirdest thing ever. Like you like milk that much that you would drink lactate? Ugh. He has like lactate ice cream. It's like, what are we doing here? So I don't know if I'll ever go that way, but I'll transition to oat milk at some point, I guess.
Okay, my dad does not drink milk, but you know what he does is he has this big kind of like Yeti jug, but it's like the size of my torso. It's this huge Yeti thing, and he fills it with ice water, and then he squeezes like it's like those Mios or like
like the flavoring like, things,
or like a sugar-free Crystal Light, and it'll be like a jug of pink lemonade.
Crystal Light is like the most. I feel like Crystal Light is like the most hillbilly thing of all time. Is that like Crystal Light is so? I don't even know who drinks Crystal Light other than like people who mix it with alcohol. Basically, when you're a teenager,
it's not the Crystal Light brand. It's like a squirt thing. I can't remember the name of it, but
I don't know if it was like a powder that he like scooped in or something. From,
no, it's not the powder, but it's just like something that he squeezes in there, and it's like it'll be electric blue, or it'll be orange, or it'll be pink, and he's like, pink lemonade. I'm like, this can't be good for you. Why can't you just drink the water? And he's like, no added sugars, it's fine.
Yeah, well, who knows? Electric blue though, that's a hell of a flavor. I always, by the way, did you know that? Because one of my favorite flavorings, and we're going off on a crazy tangent here, I promise we'll get this back on track.
Yeah, I love it.
But did you know that blue raspberry is actually a real thing? Like I always thought for my entire life that blue raspberry was like a made up thing. There are real thing. There's a real blue raspberry fruit. It's actually not a fake thing.
Are you sure?
100% sure. I saw it. I think I might have saw a YouTube video about it, about like random facts that you didn't necessarily know. And I'm telling you, I'll Google it right now. Blue raspberry is actually.
Was it just like a hybrid thing that was just made? You know what I mean? Like how you can make a Bernedoodle, where somebody like will actually make a blue raspberry. Oh wait, I'm looking it up.
I swear, I just Googled it. It says not, but I'm telling you, it is 100% blue raspberry. There actually is like because I'm telling you, you'll Google it now, and it'll tell you it's not real. It is real. I don't know if it's like necessarily exactly like the blue color, because it's always like a bright electric blue or something. But they are real fruit. I don't think like you just like buy them at Whole Foods or something, but they are around.
Okay. Well, according to this website, blue raspberry got its start in the mid 20th century because Gold Medal, which is a Cincinnati food outfit, created the stuff looking for a way to draw attention to raspberry. The fruit, as we know, is almost always red in the wild. Giving it the blue treatment separates it from the pack. So they're saying that Gold Medal, which I believe creates gummy bears, created blue raspberry, not an actual fruit.
Blue raspberry is the best flavoring though. I think on most things like Jolly Ranchers, like gummies, whatever, always go, even like Gatorade, stuff like that. Love blue raspberry.
According to North Dakota State University, the ag department, there is no such thing in nature as a blue raspberry.
I'm telling you, I saw, maybe it was fake news. Maybe I'm being lied to. And like, listen, I watched something on YouTube and all of a sudden it's like, I can't believe it's not real. But I'm telling you,
Kyrie.
I know. I'm like, I'm a blue raspberry truther. Okay, like I know.
I'm writing this down. Steve Ceruti, blue
I'm gonna find this
raspberry
because I know everyone's gonna Google it. They're gonna be like, you're wrong. I'm telling you, it is actually real. But I'll come back to you next episode with actual evidence. How's that?
Okay, I can't wait to hear your Kyrie speech where you say I got caught down the YouTube rabbit hole. I believed it, but like I'm walking it back because of the negative backlash from the Shelleys on the blue raspberry truth. Because Steve, I think I'm going to believe the ag department at North Dakota State University.
No, North Dakota, please come on. That's
more than YouTube. More than YouTube.
I don't know. I'll come back next week with more evidence. I promise.
Okay, well, Steve was making a latte. We talked about latte art because Steve was making a latte because he's got a big night of soccer ahead. We're taping this on the 24th.
Oh, man.
And the U.S. is getting ready to play here in about an hour. But Steve, Forza Italia, non-Forza Italia. I mean, what is going on with Italy? You got to fill us in.
Yeah, so my day was, we're recording this on a Thursday, the 24th. And the U.S. plays in about an hour against Mexico at the Azteca. I'm already on edge because of that. Like they're in a good position to qualify for the World Cup. They obviously missed the last one, but like it's still a little touch and go. They probably need 4 points, which is a win and a draw from the last 3 games. Go ahead.
Was this when they lost to Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, which was one of the worst nights of my life.
Okay. And that was from our friend of the pod, Taylor Twellman. What are we doing? That was the infamous rant.
Yep.
So this is their redemption from that. Is that correct?
This is the next world. Yeah, this is the new World Cup cycle. And everything's been pushed back because of COVID. And like usually it would be wrapped up by now, but it isn't. And also the World Cup is not in the summer. It's in the winter in Qatar, or Qatar, whatever you want to call it, which is a whole other, I don't even open up that Pandora's box, but it's a shit show. But yeah, so earlier, Italy is still trying to qualify, and basically, long story short, they didn't qualify from a group they should have qualified for, so they went into a playoff. So they have to the last couple of teams that can play their way in from the European region, and everyone was excited about this major showdown between Italy and Portugal that was going to be for like one of the last spots in, and they're 2 of the best teams in the world. Like they're 2 top 10 teams in the world who would have to play to make the World Cup, which doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense, but nothing in soccer ever makes any sense. So that's kind of how it is. So both these teams, though, it's 4 teams in the group, and they'd have to each win a game to play each other. I think like either on Sunday or early next week. And so Portugal went out today and they won their game. I think they played Austria. I forget exactly who they played. And Italy was playing North Macedonia at home. North Macedonia, which, by the way, quick fact, there is no Macedonia. There's only North Macedonia.
Now, are we sure, or is that a YouTube fact?
Listen, you can Google it right now as I say this, but I'm like 99% sure there is no Macedonia. But no, and even if there is, North Macedonia is it's like a directional school in college hoops. It's like Southwest Louisiana State. It's like you don't lose to that team. You don't lose to Southwest Louisiana State. You don't lose to North Macedonia. Well, Italy went out today, lost 1-0 on a 92nd minute goal. So in extra time, just before it was going to go to extra time, actually, because they were tied 0-0, and they are now officially not making the World Cup for the 2nd time in a row, right after about a year after winning the Euro. So they were the best team in Europe and then didn't make and qualify for the next World Cup. It's insane to me. It's a fucking disaster. It's incredibly depressing. And it's a bad omen for the U.S. because, of course, last World Cup cycle, both the U.S. and Italy did not make the World Cup. So it's not, I know you like omens. I know you reading the stars, the astrology thing. There are bad omens around everything right now for me, soccer-wise.
So this is so shameful for Italy. It's just pathetic. Embarrassed. This is like, I am ashamed that we're Italian type deal, right?
It's pathetic. I mean, I saw a few people talking about like, would this be like Kentucky losing to St. Peter's in the first round of the tournament? It's worse than that. It's a bigger upset than that. Like it just is. I think it was like plus 1,700 or something on, I think I saw that on FanDuel.
Oh my God.
Italy has world-class play. Italy is a flawed team. Like they're not perfect. It was kind of crazy that they won the Euro in the first place last time around, but like they just kind of had like a great team attitude. They're not the most talented team, but they should never, ever, ever, ever be losing to a team that of North Macedonia's Macedonia or North Macedonia. Combine them. They should never be losing to any of those teams. So yeah, they're out of the World Cup, and it was kind of leading up to this big showdown between Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal in what would probably be his last World Cup, or Italy, but Italy didn't even make it to that game. So now it looks like Cristiano Ronaldo will be in the World Cup this winter.
So why did Italy lose? What was going on? How did this happen, Steve?
Complete choke job. So there's a thing called XG, which is expected goals. So it basically, long story short, it calculates like what the percentage chance that any shot is going to go in, and it'll give you a goal total after a game, like basically how many goals your attacking output should have had versus what you did have. Their XG was at like 2 goals. It was two basically to 0. North Macedonia didn't even attack. They had nothing. It was like 0.17 goals. So Italy on paper should have won this game 2-0 based on the chances that they had, and they ended up fucking losing. And again, it's like one of the biggest upsets in the history of soccer. And Italy, I mean, there's a million different problems with them, but they're probably going to fire their coach. One of their midfielders is like a generational, like he's one of the best midfielders in the world. He's never going to play in a World Cup likely as a professional, which is insane.
Who was his name?
Marco Verratti. He plays for PSG, and we
love
hate
Marco
Verratti. We don't like PSG on this podcast, but we like Marco Verratti.
Yeah, we love Marco Verratti. Yes.
But complete choke job. It's embarrassing. I mean, a country of Italy's caliber should never be missing a World Cup. It's like the U.S. You should never miss a World Cup, and this will be 2 straight that they've missed, and in the middle of that, they won the Euro. It makes absolutely no sense. There's nothing. It's completely unprecedented.
Also, if you're running the World Cup, it's FIFA, right? That runs the World Cup. If you're FIFA, how bad is it for you from an optics standpoint to not have the US or not have Italy in the World Cup?
It's not great, but the World Cup is almost like ratings proof. It doesn't really matter. Like the world is obsessed with it. It doesn't,
Oh, wait, you mean that I just became like a self-involved American saying, well, if America's not in it, no one's going to care.
I mean, it also depends on like time zones and stuff, like depending on where it is. Like when it's in, when it was in Brazil for us, it was great because the games were on at like awesome times, right? But it's going to be in Qatar, and it was in Russia before. So it's way before the games are early in the morning. So it's hard to watch. And it just, I don't know, I guess it depends on where it is. But from a world perspective, like, yeah, they'd like to have Italy in, but people, if you're going to watch the World Cup and you're living in whatever country, you're still going to watch the World Cup no matter what. Honestly, people probably root against the US anyway, because they just don't like the States. People don't want the US around the world to be good at soccer. You're like, you guys are good at everything else. Why do you have to be good at soccer? So
yeah, no, everyone hates us, like confirmed. They hate us.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, they're like, well, they like Americans because we spend a lot of money, but then they love talking shit about us the second that we leave, or right to our faces in their own language.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're like, if you have like a rich friend going up and everyone's like, oh, you're kind of cordial with them because you like what they bring to the table, but you don't actually like them. You kind of like root against them. That's what the US is in the world table.
Oh, you mean you're like, well, I don't really like Harry, but I really want to go on boat day.
Yeah, his dad has a sweet boat, and he lets us go on it, and we do some wakeboarding, and it's pretty fun. Yeah, they got some jet skis and a beach house. So
okay, well, Italy that you watched, a bummer. I know you watched a movie last night. We were going to tape last night, but you went to see the Batman movie, right? So I need your Batman review. I
did. Do you want to do this? Well, let's tee this up first. So the reason that we're going to do our next feature, which is we're each going to rank our guy and girl crushes.
Top 5.
Top 5. And the reason that I wanted to do this is because I was going to see the Batman last night, and Robert Pattinson was Batman. And I was like, is Robert Pattinson going to be on my list? So I guess you want me to give my review first, and I can tell you whether or not he made the list.
Give your review, because I have some thoughts on old Robbie P.
Are you pro or against?
I don't see the allure.
Whoa, why?
Maybe it's because I watched Twilight and thought it was the biggest POS I've ever seen. I tried to read the book and I was like, people like this? This is so stupid. It was
he had nothing to do with the book though, right? He was just but Cullen. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll watch the movie. Still trash. I don't know. I will always see him as like diamondy skin. I just don't think I'm sure he's an amazing actor, but I can't get past Twilight. I'm sorry.
So I get what you're saying. I've never seen one Twilight movie, so maybe that's why I do like him. But the reason that I really like him is because I like guys like that that do something like that as a younger actor, right? That's kind of lame and corny, but like makes them really famous. But then they kind of like completely reinvent themselves and then become really great and do like artsy things. Like he was in The Lighthouse, which was a really weird, quirky, good movie with Willem Dafoe. And now he's playing Batman, which is like awesome. Like Batman movies, like, they're kind of hit and miss, like over the course of time. Obviously you have the Dark Knight ones, which are incredible. But this one I thought was really, really good, Michelle. Like, I don't know if you'd like it. Have you seen all Dark Knight ones or no?
I just saw the Heath Ledger one, but I thought it was amazing.
It was very good. And then the next one was The Dark Knight Rises.
I saw the Joker.
Joker, which wasn't really like, it was like an origin story. It was very depressing. But this is a really good Batman movie. Like the thing about Batman is that you have to make it different, like, right? Because, if you want to go out and try to remake Christopher Nolan's Batman series, like you're just going to fail. Like it has to have a different vibe. It has to have a different tone. Every Batman is different. Here's the crazy thing about Batman movies is Batman actually really doesn't determine whether or not the movie's good or not. It's always the villain. The villain is whether or not, like, that's why Heath Ledger was so great. That's why, as Tom Hardy as Bane was so great. But I will say, I thought that Pattinson was so freaking good as Batman. It was moody as fuck, Michelle. It was like kind of depressing. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Batman, though, is like Batman kind of is a flawed character. He's not actually like a great dude. I mean, think about it. He's like a billionaire who goes around, like, fights people and is like a vigilante and definitely has some like mental issue. Like he's not a well-adjusted, put together guy. Like he has problems. He's very flawed. And
you don't want your girlfriend to marry Bruce Wayne.
Well, maybe for the money. I mean, he's definitely cool. Like he has this cool vibe, but he's very flawed. He's a very flawed person. And I think
but he's got a dark side. Like you don't want your girlfriend to be like, "Where's my husband? He left dinner. Oh, he's out in the streets, like beating people up in a leather suit."
Correct. And I think Pattinson did a really good job portraying Batman in this movie. Because the villain was okay, but I would say, I'll go out on a limb and I'll say it. And this isn't controversial because I don't think a lot of people thought that Christian Bale's Batman was like awesome, but Pattinson was a better Batman than Christian Bale. I'll say it right now.
Was he a better Batman than Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Was he a better Batman than, who was the other one? Michael Keaton?
Keaton, George Clooney.
No one's better than Clooney.
I'm telling you,
I've never seen Clooney as Batman, but
I think Pattinson. Listen, and again, you know me, how I feel about like old movies. I think they kind of just suck because you can kind of feel that they're old, and the older Batman movies are kind of corny and they're not good. I think Pattinson, I'll say it, top 3 Batman.
Top 3.
Thought he was great. Thought he was fantastic. He's the best modern Batman, I think.
Who are the other 2?
People would probably give it to Clooney because it's Clooney. Well, people would probably say Kilmer, Clooney, and I'd put Pattinson there. But I think of the last like 10, 15 or so years, I think this is the best portrayal of Batman that I've seen.
Wow.
So
okay.
I highly recommend it. But it's a very moody movie. It's kind of depressing. It's really dark. The themes in it are really kind of like depressing. The music is really depressing. Like it's a mood, Michelle. I know like the kids love to say that, but like the movie really is like a mood, and it's 3 hours long. So I don't think you'd like it.
I'm not going to say it, but I appreciate your review. Okay. So yeah, Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Robbie P, Michael Keaton, Clooney. I mean, there's all these other people, but I don't think these are like straight ass Batman movies. I think these are spin-offs or something that is on this list.
Yeah. Or they're not part of some universe that I guess that like, every movie is part of today, but
I did see, I think the Val Kilmer one when I was growing up, and I thought Val was a pretty good Batman.
Yeah. I get some of them mixed up because I forget who the villains were, but like, I remember Danny DeVito was Penguin. I think Jim Carrey was the Riddler. The Riddler was in this movie, and the Riddler was, he was fucking crazy.
Who played the Riddler?
What's his name? Paul
Giamatti?
No.
He's great. I love Paul Giamatti.
Paul Dano.
I don't know him.
You know him if you Google him. He's like the only way I can describe him is he's creepy. Like he just is a creepy actor, but he's really good at playing that role. He was in. Oh,
okay. I know him.
What movie am I thinking of?
Little Miss Sunshine.
No. Oh damn! It was with Daniel Day-Lewis. There Will Be Blood. He was in There Will Be Blood, which is one of the best movies of the last couple decades. Yeah, you and I could not have more different movie going tastes. By the way, big ass bowl of popcorn. I had a large popcorn, large soda, like was in my fucking zone.
Totally.
I am at my happiest, I think, when I'm at the movies. Movies are watching a soccer game. That's when Ceruti is at his happiest.
You're like that Kanye and Jay-Z song where you're like, don't let me get in my zone. I'm definitely in my zone.
Yeah. I'm like, leave me alone. Having a great time. I literally was talking to Russillo one of the other days. I was like, one of the best, because we had the Mad Max actor, or the guy who wrote the book about Mad Max on.
Okay.
And I said to Ryan, I was like, one of my favorite times, period, like days of my life, the last couple of years, was when I went to a movie theater by myself, watched Mad Max during the day, had a popcorn matinee movie. I'm like, it was just like a great day. I just loved it. It was one of my favorite days of the last like decade. So that tells you everything you know about me.
Do you guys remember when you sent me on assignment for the show to see a solo movie? Do you remember this?
Kind of. What was it? I forget what the movie was.
So this is when we were producing Russillo and Cannell, and I had never seen a solo movie. And you guys were all talking on the show about how it's your favorite thing to do is leave everyone and everything behind, get a tub of popcorn and a soda and maybe some candies and sit in the movie theater alone. And I was like, I've never done it. And so Ryan was like, homework for the show, you have to go see a movie by yourself tonight and talk about it on the show tomorrow. And so I'm looking through the movies, and it was probably some Batman movie playing or some like Manchester by the Sea or whatever dark film that you guys would have wanted me to see. And I chose the Tupac movie.
Oh, I do remember this now. That's right. That's right. Because, okay, really quick though, like this is how different you and I are. I would never see the Tupac movie. Maybe if it was free, you would be like the first in line to see a Tupac movie or a Biggie movie or whatever. We could not have more different tastes when it comes to movies.
Yeah. And everybody thought it was trash. They were like, oh, the Tupac movie sucked. I was like, I didn't mind it. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's what I did. And I didn't dislike it. And I have since, Steve, seen one other movie solo. Do you want to guess what you'll never guess, but I'll just tell you.
Can I get a hint? Can I possibly guess it or no?
It is it's kind of a documentary. It's basically a documentary, and it's about a real person that I love, that, like, if you play if Dead or Alive, if you could have anybody at a dinner party, this guy is 100% on the list.
Was it the Freddie Mercury movie?
No, but good guess.
Am I close? Elton John movie? I'm just trying to think of like biopics.
It's not a singer.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess not.
No, it's like actual footage of this person doing their job, I'll give you a clue, has since passed away. The movie came out after he passed away. I'll give you another clue. He committed suicide.
Kurt Cobain?
No.
Who? I don't know.
Anthony Bourdain, Roadrunner.
Oh, I should have known that. You're right. I didn't know that was in theaters. Okay, okay.
It was during the tail end. Well, I was going to say tail end of the pandemic, but we're kind of, I guess, still in the pandemic. But I don't know. Are we still in the pandemic? I don't even know.
I'm going to declare it's over. We're good. Let me be the first to tell you that, like, go out and live your life. It'll be all right. It'll be fine.
I was just in New York this past weekend. They're not checking vaccine mandates. You don't have to wear a mask. I'm in bars packed. We're like face to face. I'm like, I guess this is over, right?
Speaking of Kyrie won. Who would have thought that? I mean, geez.
I did not think he would win. But this was still at the time where people were just coming back to movies and we were wearing masks or whatever. But it was playing at this little theater at a mall here. And I went solo on like a Tuesday night when there wasn't a game, and got the popcorn, settled in. I was sobbing at the end because I love Bourdain, and I was devastated when he died. And it was just about his daughter and, about how he had come so far in his life. And then he, out of nowhere, tragically gets depressed and decides to take his life, and no one ever saw it coming. And I'm sobbing alone, and I'm looking around, and it's all these couples, Steve. It's all of these couples that had gone to see this movie together. And here I am, like right in the center of the theater with my jumbo tub of popcorn, with my M&M, my peanut, or what are those Reese's Pieces that I get sprinkled in, and I'm like shoving it in my face, crying. It was a moment, but it was
a scene.
I'm glad. And I saw one other movie by myself that I also.
So you're just like a solo moviegoer now. This is your thing. Welcome to the society. What's the other one?
Thank you. Okay, this one I also cried so hard, but I was crying so hard at the end that I had to wait till everyone else left the theater because I was like, no one can see me. This was pre-pandemic. Call Me by Your Name. Did you ever see that movie, Call Me by Your Name? Armie Hammer, Chalamet. Okay,
we got to get to this list because there's some guys that are being brought up here that like are part of my list, and like, but yes, I've never seen the movie. I've heard it's great. Again, probably not for me, but I've heard it's awesome. I've heard it's a great movie.
The Italian scenery, the essence of that movie is just like my biggest dream, just like biking around, like Tuscany. But anyway,
by the way, Armie Hammer, cannibal, the cannibal guy, the guy who like eats people.
This was pre-cannibal. This was pre, we knew he was a cannibal. But I think he went to rehab and is like working on his life. But anyway,
best of luck. Hope it works out.
Godspeed. But the dad gives a speech to the son at the end, and I'm just like,
yeah, it's Waterworks. It's Sob City.
Waterworks. So anyway, okay. So you saw the Batman. What would you give it out of 5 stars, or out of 5 SIGs, since that's our rating?
5 SIGs. I would say it's definitely a 4. I don't know if I'd go 4.5. It's a good movie. It's long. It's depressing as fuck. But I think it has to be that way. I think you have to make Batman movies that are edgy. It was almost like, have you ever seen Seven?
Yeah. Oh, like What's in the Box?
It's kind of like Seven. It has like Seven. It's there's mafia involved. There's obviously there's murder and there's crime and whatever, and it involves Gotham City. It's not your traditional Batman movie. I think that's what's cool about it, is it's not like a traditional, he's not a superhero. He's just like a guy, right? That's what the cool thing about Batman is. So I'd say 4. I'd say a solid 4, maybe between a 4 and a 4.5, but I'm not going to go to 4.5. So I'll say 4.
Okay. 4 heaters from Ceruti
4
on
cigs.
the Batman.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see it.
All right.
Tell me what you think.
Okay, so now that leads us to what is our big thing on the podcast this week. Steve is going to give his top 5 dude crushes, and I'm going to give my top 5 girl crushes. So how do you want to do this? Do you want to give your full list first, 5 to 1, and then I go, or do you want to go number 5, 4, 4, 1, 1?
Let's do it that way. Let's go 5 to 1. We'll go vice versa. And can I just start, because I need you to break a tie for my fifth for number 5.
Okay, please go.
And they're both people that we mentioned.
Okay, wait, can we do the dramatic? Coming in at number 5 on Steve's
number
Ceruti's.
5.
Steve's Ceruti's Guy Crush list. By the way, we do, of course, like an NFL 4 down segment, and they always play the hut. It's the corniest old school radio thing, and I love it. It makes me laugh every time. So, okay, coming in at number 5 on Ceruti's top 5 dude crush list is...
Okay, you have to break the tie here. It's either Pattinson or Chalamet.
Oh, easy. Timothy Chalamet is
okay.
Amazing.
So the reason that I like both of these guys a lot. I would say Harry Styles was also in the running, but he was like a distant third out of this group of guys. So I just went with Pattinson and Chalamet.
Wait, that's an upset. I thought Styles would be on the list.
I did too, and I talked about it with Maddie, but there's just too many guys ahead of her that I value more. But I think between Pattinson and Chalamet, I like them because, again, their range is crazy. Like we talked about, I don't really like Twilight. I haven't seen any of the movies. I've seen like bits and pieces, but Pattinson was awesome in Tenet. He was in a movie called The Lighthouse, which was like really cool. I just talked about it before, which is great. He's now Batman. He also has this like cool aesthetic vibe, but he kind of has an old school look to him. He has both of them have rigid jaw lines. I kind of like their just overall vibes. And Chalamet, by the way, he was a kid in Interstellar, which I didn't even know until like a couple of years ago. I didn't even realize he was in Interstellar. He was in The King, which is one of my favorite movies, Netflix movie, which is kind of like surprising because Netflix doesn't make great movies, but it's an awesome movie. And then he was obviously just in Dune, I love Dune. Dune was great. And he was so good in Don't Look Up. I don't think Don't Look Up was that great, but his character, did you watch the movie at all?
I did. I saw it.
He was so fucking funny, and he was the best part of the movie.
He was the best part.
So I love when actors like that play like weird characters. So I feel like both these guys are kind of a tie. I'm going to go with Pattinson just because I kind of feel like I'd rather have a beer with that guy. I think he's a little more interesting. And Chalamet is a little bit younger. So slight edge, I'll go Pattinson number 5 over Chalamet, but it's close.
That's a miss by you to not have Chalamet or Harry Styles on the list. I'm sure I'm not going to approve of the list in totality now, knowing you're leaving those 2 guys off.
Honorable mentions.
But I'll allow it. All
right. Number 5, Michelle.
Coming in at number 5 for me, Steve, is Zoe Kravitz. I love Zoe Kravitz. Okay, first of all, Lenny Kravitz might be the single coolest guy on the face of the earth, with one of the most beautiful women ever, and Lisa Bonet. And you're going to make an offspring from these 2 people. You know she's going to be hot. You know she's going to come out edgy. You know she's going to be a little dirty. Like every time I see a picture of Zoe Kravitz, she's like wearing a white Hanes tank top, no bra. She looks like she smells like patchouli, but in like the hottest, richest way. She's got some sort of weird piercing going on, but with like a John Batista Bali shirt or skirt. And you're just like, I want to hang out with you and eat tofu or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe meditate by a tree, and then maybe go do some weird drugs that I've never heard of, because that just seems like her vibe. And it doesn't really matter what she does. She looks really cool doing it.
Hold on. Did you know that she's in Batman?
No, she is?
Yeah. I was like, wait, I thought you were doing like a thing, but then I'm like, I don't think she actually knows. Yeah, she was Catwoman. She was basically like the love interest of Robert Pattinson in the Batman. And she was fucking hot, and she was awesome, and she was really cool. And the 2 of them like together, they're just like too hot. They're too hot to look at. They're just like sex as a couple. Like you're like, this is sex. This is what sex is. Even though like I don't even think they're at a relationship or anything. They were just obviously acting, but they're too hot. And so she was Catwoman, he was Batman.
Okay, wait, 2 things. One, how about her and Channing Tatum dating in real life? You want to talk about too hot to
right now?
Yeah, they're a full-blown couple.
Hot take. I don't think Channing Tatum's that hot.
Well, get out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. Have you seen Magic Mike?
Why Why does he
Pony.
not?
One word, Steve. Pony.
Why does he have a buzz cut? Like, I like guys with hair. We know this. This is true. This is why he wouldn't make my cut. But like, why does he not grow his hair out? He's had like a buzz cut for like all of his life.
As someone that loves a thick neck and a bald head.
That is true. He's very much your type. I don't know. He's not for me. Not for me. But she's definitely super hot. So
okay, so I just went to her Instagram, which I follow, but it must not come up in my algorithm a lot. I mean, is this what she looks like in the movie? Because
kind of, not really, but kind of, yeah. By the way, do you know that she was also in Mad Max, right?
No.
So I fully approve of Zoe Kravitz. I think she is amazing.
Love her. But don't you agree that she looks like she might smell bad, but like in a hot way?
Yeah, but that's like, she has like kind of that like grunge look.
Yeah.
Like but modern grunge look where she's like hasn't showered in a couple of days, but like it still kind of smells good in a way. I don't think like smells weirdly good.
I'm telling you, it's like I've been partying for days. My fingers smell like Marlboro Reds, but I'm wearing a $10,000 designer gown and I have smudged eyeliner and I make everyone laugh when I walk in a room. She's like edgy, but romantic. She's like ethereal, but cool. I mean, she just covers every base. I love her.
I was going to say, I don't know who else is on your list. We'll find out, but you'd be hard pressed to find a cooler girl. Like this girl's just fucking cool, period. Like putting aside that she's even hot, like she's cool as fuck. Her tattoos are incredible. Like I think everybody wants to like, whenever people get like the tattoos, like the little small tattoos all over them, they want to look like Zoe Kravitz, but you actually can't look like that because it's like a very specific look that only like she and a couple other people could pull off. Fully endorse your number 5.
Okay, your turn.
All right, number 4. This might come as a surprise to you. He was actually also in the Batman, but this is not like, I'm telling you, this is pure coincidence. I've always loved this guy, and you know this. Okay. Colin Farrell. I love Colin Farrell. I think Colin Farrell might be one of the most underrated actors of the last 20 years. I know he's like well known, but he's so fucking good in everything he's in. I loved him but he had an appearance in Scrubs. He was in Bruges, which is one of the most underrated movies of a long time. He was in The Lobster, which was the weirdest fucking movie that I also loved.
I hated The Lobster.
He was in Horrible Bosses, and he was hysterical. This goes back to the Shyamalan, like, can play different kind of guys thing. Plus, he's Irish. He's a big soccer fan. And doesn't he just seem like a guy you'd want to like go out with? He's the kind of guy that you want to invite to your bachelor party because you know that he's going to have a great time. Like, I don't know if I want to hang out with him all the time, but like for 1 or 2 nights in a city, he's a guy that I want to be around because he knows how to handle his shit. And plus he's hot. He looks good. He's got a great look to him. He's got that like kind of like old, I don't want to say like salt and pepper because he's not that old, but like he's got that kind of like Irish salt and pepper look. I love Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell, guaranteed weird hang. Guaranteed.
It's definitely going to be an odd night. Mm-hmm.
It's going to be kind of like The Hangover where you wake up and you're like, I'm piecing it together. Where's Jimmy? Colin got us into this underground thing. We had to knock twice, eat a burrito, and then turn around 3 times and get in the room. But it was epic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you have to do it one time. You have to hang out with Colin for one time for a long weekend. And then that's probably all you really need for the rest of your life. But need some international flair too. Like we don't want to just pick Europeans. Or we don't just pick Americans. We'll go to the European continent. So, and I just think he's hot. Like he just is. Like he's hot. Like I think he's a good looking dude. And like I want to look like his aesthetic. It's one of those things too where like guys try to pull off that aesthetic because he has like the pomade, slick back kind of thing, naturally good thick hair. He probably has tattoos. He's also like kind of got like a hairier type body in like a good way that again, not a lot of dudes can pull off, but like if you can, it's a good look. So that's why he's number 4 on my list. I love Colin Farrell.
Okay. Coming in at number 4 on Michelle's top 5
four.
girl crushes list. Is Emily Ratajkowski. I love me some Rata, and let me tell you why. Not only is she one of the hottest girls on planet Earth, she is brilliant. This woman is absolutely brilliant. Steve, I read her essay in the New Yorker about reclaiming her image, and it was stunning.
I think you sent that to me. Yeah, I remember
stopped me in my track. She was such a beautiful writer. And then she went on to write this incredible series of essays, a collection of essays in a book called My Body. And I think she is so self-aware. She is so cerebral. She talks about the fact that she has all these thoughts on feminism and on, how we profit off of our images and off of our bodies, but that the only reason that we're even reading her book is because she's beautiful and because she's a model and because she took her top off for Robin Thicke. And she talks about really, really thought-provoking things, at least for me as a woman, especially a woman in, a space where I'm seen a lot, about how we we think that we as women have power in certain situations, but does actually the man have the power that he granted to us because he's saying we're attractive and therefore worthy to be in that space? It's just, she is very, very smart. She has started a swimwear business that is thriving, and she shoots and does all the creative directing for all of it. She has taken herself as what would just be a hot girl Maxim model and turned herself into an incredible author and businesswoman. She's a thinker, a mother, a wife, and just a badass babe. And I love her.
I'm trying to see. I don't really know much about her other than like, I guess I'm proving your point that like, she's got a great body. I guess that's how I'll say that. Let me see if I follow her on Instagram. I don't even remember if I do. How do you spell her last name?
R-A-T-A. Emrata. Good follow. And
I do follow her. There you go. I follow her.
She went to art school.
She's had a kid. That's right. Yeah.
Yep. Her kid's adorable. Her father's a painter. She's very into art. I mean, she is the type of girl that I would want to go have a steak and a dirty martini with and just kiki. We would have a good time.
I'm gonna just have to side with you because I just don't know much about her other than like what she looks like, really, basically. So I guess you're right. I'm proving her point, but all the things you described seem pretty dope. What nationality is she? She's not from America, right? Or where is she from?
She is from America. I think she's from California.
Oh, she is. Okay, so she just has like a kind of last name.
Her family is, I don't know.
She's one of the most unique looking people in a good way. Like she kind of has the Shyamalan thing. Like they just have like aggressive features in a good way. Like her bone structure. What am I saying?
Chalamet.
I'm terrible. I pronounce it wrong all the time. Chalamet, whatever.
If you're gonna crush on him, Steve, you got to get the name.
Well, he didn't make my list, so I'm just saying he didn't make my. Maybe that's why he didn't make my top 5. I can't pronounce his name's too hard to pronounce.
All right, back to dudes. Number 3.
All right, number 3. This is the one that you're not gonna like. Tom Hardy. I don't even think you know who he is. Like, which is so strange. I guess I know this is maybe the difference between like this is your Emily Ratajkowski. Like he to me is, I think he's the best actor going right now. Male actor for sure. He's one of those guys, like if he's in the movie, I don't care what it's about, I'm watching it because he's just that good of an actor. He was in like Inception, Dunkirk, Mad Max, Peaky Blinders. He was Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. Warrior is one of his most underrated movies. He could play a million different things. He also loves dogs. He was once a rapper. And he made his big screen debut in Band of Brothers, which is one of the best series of all time. He just checks off so many things. And that's not even talking about like his style or what he looks like. He has like this effortlessly cool. By the way, he's only 5'7". So I mean, I know we've talked about, that kind of vibe, but he is like a thick guy, Michelle. So I think you actually might kind of like him. I don't know. Like, I don't know if that kind of passes your vibe check, but he's kind of a big muscular dude. But again, he's one of those guys where he has the mysterious quality that I think all men want to have and all women are kind of interested in and are attracted to. Mm-hmm. But it's like he's naturally mysterious. Maybe some would call it douchebaggery. I don't know, maybe. But like he just puts off this kind of vibe where it's like, yo, what's his deal? But it's like I want to know more about his deal. Like, well, tell me more about Tom Hardy. Not Ed Hardy, two very different people, very different things. But I just always love the guy, and I think he's cool, and I want to hang out with him. And he's another guy. I don't think he's quite Colin Farrell. Like you want to hang out with him for a weekend, but I think he'd be a fun hang. And yeah, so Tom Hardy's my number 3.
So I'm looking at his photo and I think he's attractive, but if that guy came up to me at a bar and asked me out, I would never think he's an actor. I would never even know who he is. I can't tell you one thing. I cannot tell you one movie this guy has been in, but that's probably because he's in the movies that you're watching, not the movies that I'm watching.
He's, and I say this in like the best way possible. He's like a dude's dude. I feel like,
he looks like a dude's dude.
Where again, he has like the rugged beard where it's like not really well kept, but for some reason it still actually works for him. His hair is always a fucking disaster, but again, it somehow looks good on him. And yeah, he is short, but that's okay. Like, I think he's 5'7". I'm 5'10". It's not the end of the world. We don't have to be over 6 feet. We're out here thriving under 6 feet. Let's go. Totally. So yeah, I don't know. I think like if you Google him, Michelle, the first picture that comes up, it like screams sex and movie stuff. So like, I don't know. I think if that guy came up to you at a bar, you'd be like, this guy isn't just like a regular dude in finance.
I don't know. I'd be like, maybe he's a failed like MMA fighter.
Borderline homeless. Like it's like there's like a look there where it's like, is he kept? Has he showered? It's kind of a Zoe Kravitz thing where it's like, have you showered? But like you still kind of look good. Like what's going on here?
Yeah, you like go back to Shaq and you're like, there's dried bloods on these sheets. Should I be concerned, or is this just part of the vibe?
Yeah, I think no, that's just the style. It's Art Deco. Don't worry about it.
Not Art Deco. That's what we call grunge, Steve. Grunge.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Okay, coming in at 3 on Michelle's top girl crush list. Michelle. This one is going to shock you. And I went back and forth. I tussled with a couple names here. I'll give you my honorable mentions at the end. But coming in at number 3 for me, Steve, is Kim Kardashian.
Oh, please.
Listen to me. As has been well documented on this podcast, I am going through a bit of a IDGAF phase, right?
Yep.
And so is my girl, Kim K. I love that this is a woman who, no matter what circumstances are thrown at her, finds a way to thrive. Okay. Sex tape gets released. What does she do? Turn it into reality show. She's like doing Skechers ads. What's she doing now? She's like the muse for Balenciaga. Kanye goes AWOL. What does she do? She dates the person that nobody expected her to, and Pete Davidson. And now she's in love and he's branding her name on his body. I just love that she is someone that can juggle it all. And she could have just like rested on her laurels and made all these businesses and made $1 billion. Instead, she's like, I want to help people and I'm becoming a lawyer and I'm going into justice reform. And I just love that Pete Davidson does not look like the person she should date. He does not seem like the person that she should date, and she does not care. She just wants to be with him. And I just think that is very admirable. And she also has a pretty tight crew of girlfriends that she flies to private islands, and they're constantly sipping cocktails on a beach that's not named somewhere. It's like a private island. And I want to go on this trip. So Kim K is coming in at number 3. And I know you're probably laughing at that, but she's there.
I'm not even laughing. I'm genuinely disappointed. Like I don't think I've ever, that's not something that I feel towards you often. Like I'm just surprised. Like, isn't everyone just crushing her for that stupid line about like, nobody wants to work, get off your ass and work, whatever the stupid fucking line was that she said that everyone's killing her for, which by the way, you know, I don't know. She comes from money. Like, I get that. I'm not saying she didn't build something for herself, but like, I don't think that's really fair to be like, oh, you know, I work harder than everybody else. I don't know. A lot of people work hard. Like sometimes like people, you just had, you know, kind of a nice little leg up and advantage. And it's great that you've made more and you've made this huge brand for yourself. And I think you're using the Pete Davidson thing as a bonus. I would say that's like a massive negative. If I was to do a list of the opposite of man crushes, like man loathing, he would be number 1 on my list. Pete Davidson's the worst. He is the worst.
But I
not
like that
funny.
He makes her
not
happy.
hot. And he just gets to date all these hot. It's so strange. So like for her, I feel like it's actually beneath her to date a guy like Pete Davidson, who feels like he's dated like half of the Hollywood scene these days. And it's not, I don't know. I'm just surprised that you would be that. Listen, it's your list. You do what you want. It just shocks me. I didn't think you would be that into a girl like Kim Kardashian. I don't know. I'm
normally not. Pre Pete Davidson, I was like, Kim and Kanye, whatever.
So Pete Davidson that's insane to me that Pete Davidson put it over the edge for you. Like he's the worst.
Steve, I saw her do the interview on Ellen and she just was wearing like a latex bodysuit and was like, I don't care what anybody thinks. He makes me happy. I'm thrilled. We're really cute together and I'm going to live my life. And I was like, yes, bitch, me too, Kim. Like, I just want to live my life too. And I'm so sick of this societal pressure to do what everybody else thinks is cool or what everybody else thinks is going to make you be complete. Who cares if Pete Davidson looks like I don't even know how to describe him. Who cares? If he makes her happy, I love that she's going for it. And I just like that vibe, Steve, from her. And I like that she's going for it.
But she is like so mainstream. Like everybody, her look is like what everybody looks like. You know, like it's the big curvy body, whatever, lips, like ton of plastic surgery.
She made it that way.
I guess so. I don't know. I'm not discrediting like her and what she's done. It's like obviously incredible. Like the Kardashians are like a fucking, I don't know. They're like a buzzsaw through like society and they just like do whatever the hell they want. And it's incredible. And they make so much money. So you can't be an idiot to do that. I'm not saying she is. I don't know. She feels beneath you, Michelle. That's why I'm just like, I feel like you're better than Kim Kardashian. Do you watch the show? Like do you like the show?
I have in the past. I don't watch it now. I guess they have a new show coming out on Hulu. But Steve, it's not that I'm trying to be her. This is just like a girl crush. And you'll understand once we get to my number 1, kind of where I'm at with this. This is okay. And this is a revolving door. Like for you, maybe Tom Hardy won't be
define girl crush though. Like what you're saying like you find them attractive, or like, not even like a sexual way, like you just think they're good looking and you like respect their aesthetic and you respect their lifestyle. Is that kind of that's how you describe it?
Yes, just like there's something about you that I find intriguing and that I admire. And with Kim, it's the way she's approaching her life. Because think about it, Steve. Like, imagine if you were her and your ex-husband is every 5 seconds before he gets kicked off Instagram, going live, saying, "You're keeping my kids from me," threatening your boyfriend. I mean, that
yeah, I mean,
has to be...
but you married this guy. Like, let's not pretend like, I mean, maybe they did love each other at one point, but like this was a marriage of convenience as well. Like they were both in the limelight. She was happy that she was dating a guy of Kanye's stature, and vice versa. He was using her as well. So like, I don't know, Michelle. I just kind of feel like this stuff is all fake and these people just get divorced and it doesn't really matter. I know they had kids and I'm sure they were in love at some point, but I don't know. Kanye was always kind of like a loose cannon in a lot of ways. She knew that even before he's had obviously ups and downs, of course, and he's been up and down for many, many years. Like, and we know who he is. So I don't know. I think it's just very odd.
I'm just saying, I wish more of us lived by the "I'm going to just do whatever makes me happy" mantra. And I feel like she's doing
Michelle
that right now.
Yeah, yes, no, I get you.
Which is why I
like
like it.
Fair enough. To each his own. All right, 2 left. This is my number 2.
This is
the most surprising one on my list. You're going to laugh. Klay Thompson. I fucking love Klay Thompson. I fucking love Klay Thompson. He's my favorite athlete.
Wow.
One, because I love his game. I mean, he's obviously been out for like almost 2 years. He just came back this year off of a knee and an Achilles injury, but he's been my favorite player in the league for like 4 to 5 years now. Incredible shooter. I just love that like he can score 40 points and dribble like 10 times in a game, and that's how like lethal he is. I just love watching him. His attitude is awesome. He's a champion. All of the above, like everything sports wise. Like I think you understand. But the more, I don't know if you know a ton about him, but he is like the most chill, normal dude. Like he just likes to play basketball and hang out with his bulldog Rocco. And that's just me. Like he doesn't seem like he's a guy. He's not going to go out and date Kylie Jenner like a lot of other NBA players. He's very low key. His Instagram was just like pictures of him like drinking Pacificos and hanging out with his dog. Like he is just so chill and low maintenance, and he happens to be a fucking incredible athlete and probably maybe the second best shooter of all time behind Steph Curry, his own teammate. So, and I also just think he's like got a cool look to him. Like I like that. I've always liked his hair. I think he's like a reasonably fashionable dude without trying too hard. Because in a lot of NBA players, like they try really hard. Like, I don't know if you saw Serge Ibaka's like giant sweater, or like all the massive scarves that people wear, or like Russell Westbrook showing up with like he's basically wearing like a traffic outfit of like someone like with reflectors on him. Like they're all trying too hard. He doesn't necessarily do that, but he's still kind of stylish. So I know it's surprising, but man, I fucking love Klay Thompson.
I think that's an amazing choice.
Thank you. I had to follow up with Kim Kardashian. I had to bring us back on track a little bit.
I think you're going to like my number 2. As disappointed as you were with my number 3, even though I hope you understand my reasoning.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not one specific thing. By the way, you want to talk about DGAF? She showed up to the Balenciaga show wearing caution tape.
Again, when you're famous, you could take risks like that. It doesn't. But
I like that she will take a risk. She just doesn't want to have it be status quo.
What if you showed up to somebody's wedding wearing just caution tape? We'd be like, "Oh, Michelle, she's so cool." Oh my! You'd be like, "No, who the fuck is this loser? Like ruining the night."
Probably.
I don't know.
She couldn't really move or walk. Kim.
Famous people can do whatever they want. That's my point. Anyway.
Yes, they could. Okay, coming in at number 2 on my list. I know you're going to love this one. This is a woman, Steve, that has rocketed to the top. I considered putting her at number 1, but I just couldn't because I'm so obsessed with number 1. And you're going to love my number 1.
I know what your number 1 is.
Because I sent you a message. The number 1 love has been brewing for a while. Coming in at number 2 on my list is Zendaya.
Yeah. Dune.
She's in Dune? Didn't see you. Steve, Zendaya is one of the best actresses that we have come across in a long time. That episode, I think it was episode 5 of season 2 of Euphoria, when Rue had the relapse, was one of the most powerful pieces of visual art that I have seen in a long time. As someone who has seen people be in the depths of addiction, someone who has seen how it affects a family and how the person in that moment is so desperate for a fix that they will say or do whatever needs to be done in order for them to get it out of sheer desperation and physical agony. She nailed it And she is so good in that show. She is so good in everything I've seen her in. And then she gets on the red carpet and she slays. Every look from Zendaya is a hit. I also love that she's dating Tom Holland and he's shorter than her. And she's like, I don't care. I don't care that he's shorter than me. Whatever. He's
shout out to short guys. There we go.
I love it. But I just think that and by the way, she should have been like the next big pop diva. Have you ever heard her song Replay? Certified banger. It is a bop.
I have not.
Listen to Replay. I will send it to you. She could have been a pure J-Lo slashy and instead wanted to focus on acting, which I respect. Don't be surprised if we see a Dua Lipa type monster album drop from Zendaya one day. She did also work on the Euphoria soundtrack. She's just so incredibly talented and mature for her age and sophisticated and beautiful, and I adore her. Zendaya, number 2. We stan.
I also love Zendaya. Called her Zendaya for probably way too long, but yes, I she's great. She was awesome in Dune. I actually didn't really watch Euphoria, but I know the episode you're talking about because I remember Maddie watching it and being like, "What the fuck? This is intense." I mean, most of those episodes are intense, but
so intense.
But I couldn't agree more. She was a Disney Channel person, right? Too. That's how she kind of like got her start.
I think she was a child star. Yes.
And I would argue, is there a bigger movie star in the world? Like if you're making a movie to like appeal to specifically young people, I mean, like, she's like the actress for young people.
Yeah, she was
consider myself in that category anymore.
Disney Channel sitcom Shake It Up is what it was called.
Sure, all right, so she got that, but I would say like one of the reasons she was so she plays Chani in Dune, and she wasn't even really in the first movie. That's basically a setup for like the second movie, but they put her in it a lot, kind of unnecessarily, because they wanted to attract people and wanted to get more people to watch Dune because she has that kind of power. Like whenever she's in something, people are like, I gotta fucking see this, and so I couldn't agree more. I think she's awesome. And I too, like, I think that the Tom Holland and her relationship is weird, but I kind of love it. I do love it. And I did not know she was a singer, so that's pretty cool too. So I'm all in on the Zendaya train. Like I will be buying Zendaya. I mean, Zendaya stock is like Apple stock. It's like, there's like not even a value to it. Like you have to be rich to buy it in the first place. But if it's for sale, I will be buying it.
Love it. Okay. So we've arrived at number 1.
My number 1's obvious. I don't even really have to, I don't want to talk about it for that long. It's Jake Gyllenhaal. He's been my number 1 forever. Everyone on this podcast has heard me talk about Gyllenhaal. I would just say he's the only one of anyone on my list that I actually met in person and spoke to one-on-one for like a good 10-15 minutes. And
Steve, we're aware. We know the story.
I know. I don't want to rehash them. This isn't a brag alert thing, but like he was genuinely fucking cool. Okay. And he was not big timing. He was like super nice. And like a lot of those actors that come in, they're just like, they have an entourage or whatever. And they don't want to talk to any like normal noobs like me. And we were just shooting the shit about hair. Cause like I had my man bun. He was just coming off a movie where he cut his. And I always say this to Maddie, like if I can pick one aesthetic or one person where I can just like copy their look, hair, beard, body, clothes, everything, just general vibe, it would be Gyllenhaal. Like I'd want to look like Jake Gyllenhaal. And I like kind of came close to telling him that, but like in the least creepy way possible. And he was like super cool about it. He's like, yeah, man, I missed the bun too. Like it was a pain in the ass growing it out. Like we just had like a dude bonding moment. So like, again, this is like some first person stuff here for why I really like him. But I also just think like he's in a lot of great movies. He's a great actor. I know the Swifties are going to be mad at me. And we had this discussion before. I am Team Gyllenhaal. I almost tweeted it out, but I don't want to get attacked online. But I just think he's the fucking coolest dude. I just think whenever he walks into a room, you're like, fucking Gyllenhaal, that guy. Like he's just so much better and cooler than everybody else effortlessly. And that is something that I strive to do. So Gyllenhaal, easy number 1 on my list.
I'll be floored if anyone ever takes Jake from the number 1 spot on your list.
It'll be tough. Clay, I do love Clay. I made a good
Clay's
case
awesome.
for Clay, but man, Jonah, he's just. Do you like him? I don't even know if you actually like him or not.
He's fine.
Do you think like I don't know. Like,
I think Harry Styles should be number 1.
I was having this conversation with my buddies because one of my friends' girlfriend asked who dudes think is like the hottest dude, and I said Gyllenhaal, and all of her friends were like, Gyllenhaal, no way. And I was like, really? Do like girls not find him that attractive? Is it like just kind of like a me thing? I don't know.
I mean, I think he's attractive, but he's not number 1 on my list.
Yeah, he's not beefy enough for you. His neck is not thick. He doesn't do enough like shoulder races for you. He doesn't have that linebacker vibe.
What can I say? I'm more of a Channing Tatum girl. It's fine. No, I think he's attractive, but he also I feel like some movie stars are like, if you saw that guy in the street, would you stop dead in your tracks,
Yes.
or would you keep walking? And I feel like Gyllenhaal's a guy that you would keep walking, but if you saw him at a bar and you talked to him, you'd be like, oh my God, kind eyes, great smile. But like if Tom Hardy, who you made me Google, if I saw that guy in the street, I'd be like, oh damn, who's that guy?
I think Gyllenhaal has like a boyish look to him, even though he's older now in a
he's
good
very
way.
hot.
Like he can have a full beard, and still looks like a young boy in some like weird ways. And I think I kind of like that vibe about him. But yeah, I don't know. This is I could see why this is very personal to me. I just have always kind of liked the dude, and I think he's cool as shit. And I hope we can hang out again. Didn't get his number that day, unfortunately. Wish I could have had a redo.
Didn't snag the digits. Maybe shoot him a DM.
Yeah, be like, hey, you remember me from Mike and Mike 10 years ago? Like, that was that guy talking about buns.
Hey, bro, this is Steve. We talked for 15 minutes on Mike and Mike circa 2012. What's up?
He'd be like, oh, dude, totally. Yeah. Like, let's hang out. We want to go out in West Hartford, have a couple beers, tap room. Let's go.
I got it. Here's the play. Russillo is in the movie world now, right? He's a Hollywood writer. You need Russillo to go to a Hollywood party, befriend Jake, and then be like, oh, remember my boy Ceruti? He's coming to LA. Like, let's all get drinks.
True. It's true.
Russillo is your in.
All right. I'll have to put that one in Russillo's head. Be like, hey, man, just put in a good word for me.
When Ryan's like, hey, what do you want for Christmas? Like, I'm going to get you a Christmas gift. Be like, Jake Gyllenhaal drinks, boys night with Jakey G.
Yep. Just give me his phone number, like in not a weird way, like where he knows, oh, this is Ceruti. What's up? We can hang out. But I don't think he's hanging out in Connecticut too often. So, well, maybe I'll have to meet up with you whenever you're in New York, because you know the spot. So we'll do that.
Okay. Next time I'm in New York, I'm going to ask my people, where does Jake hang out? And I'm going to try and get you a spot.
I will be their stat.
I bet it's in Brooklyn. Take the train and we'll go. I can see him getting like an oat milk latte at some like hole in the wall place in Brooklyn, wearing like cloth shoes.
Correct.
Yeah. But then also like the next day I see him and he's wearing a leather jacket and it's just come from boxing. You know what I mean? He's got different layers to him, Jake does.
He's versatile. That's also another reason why I like him. But all right, get to your number one. I know what it is and it's amazing.
Okay, well then you need to get the build up because you're going to be very excited about this.
Number one.
In a shocking, and I mean absolutely shocking turn of events, the OGest of G's of Shelley's, one of the biggest debates to ever happen on this podcast between Steve and I is about Beyonce and Rihanna. And I have been steadfast Bayhive for, I don't know, Steve, a good 4 years. I mean, predating our friendship, Bayhive member.
I think you told me it was my worst take.
It was your worst take.
Yeah.
And Steve, it's about to be mine too, because coming in at number one on Michelle's girl crush list is Rihanna.
Yes.
Steve, over the past couple of months, just like I've not that I needed to come around to Rihanna. I always loved and respected her as an artist. I thought she was the coolest girl, but Beyonce was to me like the untouchable. I mean, Beyonce is flawless. Like she has never missed, whether it's a look or a song or a role she's played in a movie, the way she dropped Lemonade, just everything about her was like this relentless pursuit to raise the bar and be better, which is kind of what I try to be, but on like a micro level. I'm always like doing a cleanse or doing this. Like I'm always trying to like, what's the best thing I can do or whatever. So I love that about Beyonce. And as I've gotten older and as I've gotten into a different space in my life, and I'm like shouting out Kim K for dating Skeet, I have become Team Rihanna. First and foremost, has anyone, and I mean anyone on the history of planet Earth, done pregnancy better or cooler than Rihanna?
The answer is probably no.
A$AP Rocky and Rihanna is my ultimate celebrity couple. I love me some A$AP. A$AP and Rihanna feel like the type of people that you hang out with them and you're like, damn, why can't we be more like them? Those two have just got it. They got it going on. Rihanna comes out, she's pregnant with A$AP's baby. Steve, every outfit she's worn, whether it's been her street style or when she's in Paris Fashion Week or whatever she's doing, is embracing her body. It's like the belly is out. We've got belly chains. We've got mesh. We've got like a mesh cropped tee with like a fur coat and a hat she's just Like, this is me. I don't give one F what you think. I love my body. I'm excited for this stage in my life. She also has an incredibly successful music career and then has parlayed that into a lingerie line. She is now making $1 billion with Fenty Beauty. And shout out to Fenty Beauty, the best body butter I've ever used in my entire life. As someone who loves a body oil and who loves a lotion, someone told me the Fenty Beauty, it's in a purple tub for those of you listening, the Fenty Beauty body butter is the shit. You got to get it. I went to Sephora, they're sold out. They're like, we can't keep it in stock. It's so good. So I was like, order me like 4 of them when they come in. Steve, amazing. This girl knows what she's doing.
I'll have to try it out at some point.
You know what? Ryan,
get my body butter on.
Ryan will get you drinks with Jake for Christmas. I'll send you Fenty Beauty Rihanna body butter. Okay,
yep, I need to up my body butter game.
But you know what really took it over the top for me, and this is how you knew she was coming in at number 1, is Rihanna was walking into a fashion event. She's pregnant, she's slaying, and she was late. It's Rihanna. She was late. And she's like gliding in, the paparazzi snapping all these pictures of her. And someone in the crowd yells, Rihanna, you're late. And she pauses a beat and turns to them without even breaking a sweat, just goes, no shit. And continues on. It continues on. Steve, I made a mood board of like spring looks I want to do. Rihanna's all over them. I mean, we're talking silver chokers and backwards hats. I mean, I just think she is amazing and she's number 1 on the list. I love her.
I don't have to add much more. Like, I'm just happy that you're on the right side of this debate after probably 3, 4, 5 years, who knows. And I always maintain that it's no disrespect to Beyonce. It isn't, because Beyonce, you're right, is like kind of perfect and flawless. But the thing that's cool about Rihanna, one that I just like, I like her music better. I think it's just more fun and kind of interesting, even though I will concede to you that Beyonce will go down as the better artist. But she's just so much more relatable. And it's exactly, it's, so cool. It's the no shit line. Like, you know, and again, if you're going out and hanging out for a night, like, you're picking Rihanna 10 times out of 10 over Beyonce, not because Beyonce's not cool or whatever. Like, she is too. She's almost like too cool, you know? Whereas like Rihanna is relatable. And that's like, we'll go back and look at our entire lists. And I think I tried to do that. Like, I think everybody that I picked is somewhat of a down to earth person, you know, like, they're not like, we're not talking like Brad Pitt, like unobtainable hotness, right? They're like just kind of like dudes you want to hang out with. They're like Rihanna, girls that you want to be around with. They're just like people that you feel like you'd be a good time to be around, that are good vibes and good people. And not that Beyonce isn't a good vibe or whatever, but she's like an alien. Like, she's not even a human in some ways. Like, she's too amazing. And Rihanna's, one of her best things about her is like, you're right, like her body, her flaw, like she embraces her flaws. She's like proud of being pregnant, doesn't care about what people think about her. She's like shitting on people who give her shit for being late. All those things are what like normal people would have, what their reactions be and what they would do in certain situations. So I'm just happy for you. And this completely redeems you for picking Kim Kardashian as your number 3. So your list is good in my eyes if Rihanna's number 1.
Even though I kind of picked them for the same reasons, because both of them just like don't care. But I will say this, I've been watching out. So you know what's so funny about this, that we started talking about the Instagram algorithm. And because I've been like loving Rihanna lately, I've been playing a lot of Rihanna music too, which, by the way, the Anti album,
that's right, yeah,
so good.
Yeah,
but
needed me, whatever, fucking incredible song.
Oh my god, unbelievable. But the by the way, you know what song is so good that I listen to all the time? Sex with Me is so good. I mean, but like, isn't that Rihanna? Sex with Me, so amazing. Like, she's just like, this is me. But my explore page is all Rihanna videos. It's just like constant stream of Rihanna content. So I feel like this is really just like throwing gasoline on my girl crush for her. And it's all these videos. And I was watching one yesterday while I was compiling this list, and someone asked her, you know, you're so confident. How do you get that confidence? And she goes, you know what? I'm not confident all the time. Fake it till you make it, honey. She's like, you just walk
easier
in
said
there.
than done, but yeah.
She goes, you just own it. Like, you tell yourself, I'm going to be the baddest bitch. And I was like, but I love how she was like honest, saying, I'm not confident all the time, but like, fuck it, like whatever, be the baddest bitch in the room, fake it till you make it. So I love Rihanna. And by the way, this is no Beyonce slander, just want to clear the record here. We love Beyonce, we stand Beyonce.
Yeah, the hive's gonna come after you now. Here we go.
No, don't worry, I'm still in the hive. Like, I'm a worker bee in the hive, but I'm also getting my Rihanna Navy on because we love her. Well, that concludes our list, Steve. I loved your top 5. I hope you approve of mine.
I do. It's okay. I'll okay the Kardashian one I understand why you picked her. You're 100% right in all of your arguments. So as much as she's not my favorite, and I certainly don't like Pete Davidson, your list is okay by me.
By the way, she also has an amazing shapewear line called Skims. She's a wizardess. She helped me fit
Not interested.
To many a dress. So I'm just saying that also helps her on there because thank you for the Skims. Steve has to balance because he's off to watch the USA soccer game. I think he's probably watching it out of one corner of his eye right now. So we got to wrap this. We will be back in action again soon. But until then, Steve, enjoy your Blue Raspberry YouTube content.
Always Team Gyllenhaal.
Thanks for listening to Small Talk. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts or the Podcast One app.